Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15th, 1769 in a Corsican city. He was the 11th child of Carlo Bonaparte and Liezia Romanillo. During his early years, he was fixated with the great military conquerors of the past, such as Hannibal of Carthage and Alexander the Great. When he was 10, he was sent to the Brandy Military Academy where he studied the arts of war. Soon after Napoleon finished with his schooling, he was granted second lieutenant in the French artillery in 1785. This marked a historical achievement for Napoleon because from this position he launched his entire military career. He rose quickly through the ranks and was soon sent out to defeat the British at the Battle of Toulon. After his brilliant victory, he was promoted to brigadier general. In 1975, Napoleon had his first important victory over a group of rebels trying to overthrow the new French government. This victory earned Napoleon mass amounts of money and fame, but most importantly, this earned him the support of the French government. Because of their support, Napoleon was able to go on his mass conquering spree of Europe. First stop, Napoleon invaded Italy. Without even losing a battle, Napoleon dominated the Italian forces and forced them into signing the Treaty of Campo Formio. From there, Napoleon invaded Egypt, and within a year, he conquered all of Egypt, winning three key victories at the fall of Alexandria, the Battle of the Pyramids, and the fall of Cairo. After the fall of Egypt, the British fleet commanded by Admiral Nelson defeated Napoleon's fleet at the Battle of the Nile. There Napoleon was stranded for a while before returning home to France. Seeking even more power, in 1799 Napoleon orchestrated a coup that overthrew the French government and made him First Consul of France. With his newfound powers, he launched his second campaign. During this campaign, Napoleon again defeated the Austrians, and with victory at the Battle of Marengo, he forces them into a treaty. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself emperor. In an attempt to defeat Napoleon, Britain, Russia, Austria, and Sweden all joined forces. Their first blow was another British naval victory at Cap Trafalgar by Admiral Nelson in 1805. Undeterred, Napoleon took the fight to them. He launched an outstanding campaign against the Austrians and the Russians. This campaign led to the capture of the Austrian capital of Vienna. Again showing his tactical genius, Napoleon 1v2'd the Russian and Austrian armies at Austerlitz in 1805. Amazingly, Napoleon then demolished the Russian armies and eventually captured Berlin. The only country to defy him now was Britain. But because of Britain's superior navy, Napoleon couldn't touch him. So in a roundabout tactic, he banned all trade in and out of Britain. During this time, Napoleon implemented the Code of Napoleon, which is probably one of his greatest achievements. The Code of Napoleon was a series of changes which still impact Europe and the world today. One of these being the Bank of France, which is a fundamental part of France's economic system. Within the Code of Napoleon, it states that every French citizen is equal before the law. This was an enormous change, and this idea was also adopted by many other countries, such as the United States. Napoleon also improved France's educational system and pushed countrywide literacy. Other improvements were building canals and harbors and improving roads, which increased France's trade with the world incredibly. Continuing with his campaign, he invaded Spain in 1808 and Portugal soon after. But underestimating the Spanish forces who had help from Britain, Napoleon's forces were defeated and that ended his conquests in that region. In 1812, Napoleon sealed his own fate when he invaded Russia. Forgetting his big boy pants, Napoleon lost almost 500,000 soldiers to the Russian winter. In 1813, Britain, Prussia, and Austria all gathered their armies and marched on France. Unable to defend after suffering such heavy losses, he could not hold France, and Paris eventually fell in 1813. Napoleon was exiled to the Mediterranean island of Elba, but less than a year later he escaped and resumed power. After gathering an army, Napoleon attacked the Duke of Wellington at the Battle of Waterloo, but Napoleon's forces were defeated. Napoleon was then imprisoned on the Atlantic island of St. Helena and died there of cancer on May 5, 1821. Now, Napoleon was hated by many people, and although he was a dictator and basically a terrorist, his law, his conquests, and most importantly his code changed France and the world forever.